The morning sun stretched across the city of Denver as another school day began. Parents rushed through traffic. Teachers prepared lesson plans. Students filled hallways with laughter and noise. And inside a small apartment on the edge of town, 38-year-old Daniel Carter stood in the kitchen making breakfast, just like he did every morning: pancakes, scrambled eggs, and a lunch packed with far more snacks than necessary, because his 10-year-old son, Noah, always claimed he was starving by noon. Smiled. "Yeah, I'm going to miss the bus." Daniel looked at the clock. "You still have 15 minutes. That's basically an emergency." Daniel laughed. Ever since Noah's mother passed away 4 years earlier, the two had become a team, not perfect, not wealthy, not always organized, but a team, and somehow, that was enough. Noah grabbed his backpack and headed toward the door, then suddenly stopped. "Dad," Daniel looked up. "Yeah, buddy." The boy hesitated just for a second, then forced a smile. "Nothing." Daniel frowned. Something felt off, but before he could ask, Noah was already gone. The day passed slowly. Daniel spent hours repairing heating systems across the city, climbing ladders, fixing broken units, taking every job he could, because raising a child alone wasn't cheap, especially when you refuse to let that child feel the weight of your struggles. Around noon, his phone rang. The caller ID showed the school. Daniel immediately answered, his heart racing. Cheerful voice responded, "Mr. Carter, don't worry." "Noah is fine." Daniel exhaled. The words "don't worry" usually meant he should worry. The secretary continued. "Today is family lunch day." Daniel froze. Family lunch day. He had completely forgotten. Parents were invited to eat lunch with their children. Noah had talked about it for weeks. Daniel looked at the time, 12:15. Lunch started at 12:30. He was across town. The secretary spoke again. "Most parents are already arriving." Guilt hit him immediately. He imagined Noah sitting alone, watching other kids with their families, waiting, hopping. Daniel grabbed his keys. Coming. 15 minutes later, Daniel rushed through the front doors of Lincoln Elementary. His work boots were dusty. His shirt carried grease stains. His hands were rough from years of labor. He looked nothing like the well-dressed parents entering the cafeteria. But he didn't care. He only cared about Noah. The school secretary pointed him toward the lunchroom. "Just in time." Daniel smiled, then pushed open the cafeteria doors. The room buzzed with hundreds of voices. Parents laughed with children. Teachers walked between tables. The smell of pizza filled the air. Daniel stepped inside, looking for Noah. Then suddenly, he heard a voice, a child's voice, and the words made him stop mid-step. "At least your dad actually showed up." Laughter followed, cruel laughter. Daniel's heart dropped. The voice continued. "My dad says Noah's father is just some repair guy." More laughter. Another child added, "Maybe he's too busy fixing toilets." Table erupted. Daniel froze because he recognized the voice that answered. It was Noah, and his voice sounded smaller than Daniel had ever heard. "It's okay." Noah tried to laugh. "It's not a big deal." But Daniel knew his son, and he knew that wasn't true. Across the cafeteria, Noah sat alone, surrounded by classmates whose parents occupied every nearby seat. Most children had moms, dads, grandparents, entire families. Noah had an empty chair. And every second that chair remained empty, the jokes became easier. The whispers became louder. The loneliness became heavier. A boy named Tyler smirked. "My dad owns 3 businesses." Another child added, "My mom's a lawyer." Tyler looked directly at Noah. "What does your dad even do?" Noah stared down at his tray. "He fixes things." Boy laughed. "Exactly." More laughter. Noah forced a smile, pretending it didn't hurt, pretending he was okay, pretending he wasn't checking the cafeteria entrance every few seconds, hopping, waiting, praying. Then suddenly, a shadow appeared beside the table. The laughter stopped. Every child looked up. Noah looked up too, and his eyes widened. "Dad." Daniel stood there, breathing heavily from running across the parking lot, holding a paper bag in one hand, tool belt still hanging from his waist, grease still on his sleeves, but smiling. "Sorry I'm late, buddy." Noah's face lit up instantly, like someone had turned on a light inside him. "You came." Daniel pulled out the empty chair. "Wouldn't miss it." Boy's eyes became watery, but he quickly looked away, trying not to cry. Daniel sat down, then noticed the awkward silence around the table. He noticed the embarrassed expressions, the children avoiding eye contact, and he immediately understood. He had heard enough. Without anger, without confrontation, he smiled. "So, kids looked nervous." Daniel opened the paper bag. "Who wants to see something cool?" Confusion spread across the table. Daniel reached inside and pulled out a small mechanical drone one he had been repairing. The children's eyes widened, including Tyler's. Daniel placed it on the table. This little guy was headed for the junkyard. He clicked a switch. The drone sprang to life, hovering gently above the lunch trays. The children gasped. Even nearby tables turned to look. Tyler stared. "Whoa," Daniel smiled. "That's what I do." Boy blinked. "You build drones." "I repair anything." Tyler's eyes grew wider. "Anything?" Daniel nodded. "Helicopters, cars, generators, industrial machines, robotics." Table fell silent because suddenly, repair guy sounded very different. A teacher walked over smiling. "Mr. Carter." Daniel looked up. "Hi," teacher laughed. "You fixed our entire heating system last winter." Several parents overheard. One mother immediately spoke. "Wait, you're Daniel Carter?" Daniel nodded. The woman smiled. "My husband still talks about the emergency repair you did during the snowstorm." Another parent recognized him, then another. Within minutes, people surrounded the table, thanking him, shaking his hand, telling stories about how he had helped them. Noah sat quietly watching, listening, learning something important. The people making jokes didn't actually know his father, but these people did, and the difference was obvious. Eventually, the crowd dispersed. The cafeteria returned to normal. Tyler looked embarrassed, very embarrassed. Finally he spoke. "I'm sorry." Noah looked surprised. "For what?" Tyler stared down. "Stuff I said." Noah glanced at his father. Daniel simply smiled. The boy nodded. "It's okay." And just like that, the moment passed, not because someone won, but because someone chose kindness. As lunch ended, students began returning to class. Noah and Daniel walked toward the hallway together for a few moments. Neither spoke. Then Noah suddenly stopped. "Dad?" "Yeah." The boy looked up, eyes shining. "Can I tell you something?" "Always." Noah smiled. "When they were making fun of you." Daniel listened carefully. "I felt bad." Boy swallowed hard. "But after you came," he grinned, "I felt proud." Daniel's throat tight. Because of all the things a parent hopes to hear, those words mattered most. He placed a hand on Noah's shoulder. "Buddy." "Yeah, never be ashamed of honest work." Noah nodded. "I won't." Daniel smiled. "Good." Bell rang. Students flooded the hallways, and as Noah ran toward class, he turned back one last time, waving proudly. Not embarrassed, not lonely, not hiding, just proud. Proud of the father who showed up. And neither of them realized it yet. But someone had recorded what happened in that cafeteria, and by tomorrow morning, the entire city would be talking about the single dad who taught a room full of children what real success actually looks like.